Hello, YouTube. This is Doug Robbins, and I'm going to talk to you today about women's professional wrestling uh, with a major focus on the WWE and their women's wrestling. I saw this YouTuber called Small Afro, and what he was doing was he said he was talking about women's wrestling, and he said there's a happy medium that you can reach with basically the divas of the women's wrestlers can be sexy and confident in the ring and good wrestlers. And again, he used the word, hey, if you can use your sexuality, if you got it, flaunt it. And I've always hated the implications and the sound of women using their sexuality in movies or sport. Uh, Mainly just because of degenerate fuckheads that I don't know. I like to think of it more like the YouTuber Lumberjillville says. He's like, on this channel we respect women, but we can have crushes. And he talked about having a crush on the women's wrestler Dakota Kai. That's more how I want to think of women's professional wrestling, of like, we like the girl, but you know we're attracted to the girl, but she's also a good wrestler. And Small Afro also said, especially AEW, but NXT, it's like they'll kind of preach about, well, we don't want to exploit these women, but they still kind of use that mentality of the fans to exploit their sexuality. Um, and he used examples of like, oh, what's her face? Lola Vice shaking her butt and stuff. And it's like, I think the ones that, I don't know, that, thinking of that made me think of Stairway to Heaven. There are two paths you can go by. And I do think if you're straight up talking about people that use their sexuality um, to be trashy and raunchy and to sell themselves like that, well, okay. I mean, Mina Shirakawa, you got Mickey James licking, doing the cunnilingus sign. You got fucking women that are constantly showing their like butt cheeks in wrestling instead of like again, Bailey, for example, today you may see cleavage and everyone talks about her backside, but guess what? You also don't see her backside. Just like Molly Holly back in the day, because even when someone pantsed her, she was still wearing very conservative underwear and it was from the front. You know what I mean? Like, super Christian lady, super, you know what I mean? Just classy. And you knew all any storylines of her being a bitch were heavily fabricated, and we all knew that was just Vince being a shithead and forcing his writers to do that shit. Um, versus people that come off a little more vapid. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. Like, again, I like Medusa and Ivory, but they've said shit that show, okay, you're one of those old time wrestlers that not endorses being a hussy, but you're a little trashier than I initially thought. Because when I think classy versus trashy, I think of a fucking old, slasher film from the 70s and 80s. Other girls show the boobs. You're not seeing Jamie Lee Curtis's boobs in Halloween. You're not seeing Heather Langenkamp's boobs or butt in Nightmare on Elm Street. You're not going to see Catherine Hicks in Child's Play. And they're competent women that are good at what they do. And Karen is a loving mother, sticks up for her kid, helps fight the evil Chucky. Very sympathetic, competent, good movie. Laurie Strode, awkward as hell socially, but when the chips are down, can go and is competent. Heather Langenkamp, you know, she's there with her friend, and her friend is, you know, very probably suffers from low self esteem, doesn't want to be alone, deals with a Nimrod like Rod Lane. You know what I mean? Like, again, PJ Soul showing her boobs. More of the trashy girls that are over there uh, that I think would be pure sexuality instead of like Lumberjills. They'll said, we can respect women. We respect women on this channel, but it's more about, we can still have little crushes on the girls. And to me, the classier way, how wrestling in WWE, but everywhere should be portrayed more, is exactly that second way. Uh, and again, leaving their outfits and attire alone, the biggest thing why, because like Small Afro said, in about 2015, women's wrestling became, less about, okay, who's going to be in Playboy next, who's going to take their clothes off next, and who's going to be the women's champion. That's how the fuck it should be. Um, again, and we haven't had pillow fights or bra and panty matches in years. But talent is not sexually transmitted. That's an AJ Lee quote. You don't fucking jump all over the fucking whoever you're pretending to date, making out with them. You're not like Trish Stratus. Vince is like making, Trish was making out with everybody back then. Vince pretending his wife's comatose. So he can like make out with Trish in front of her in a fucking wheelchair while she's drooling, barking like a dog. And yeah, she turned on him. But see what I mean? Trashy. And this is just like when Mickey was fighting her doing the cunnilingus fucking lingo bullshit. Classy versus trashy, folks. Women's wrestling, like again, think of someone like Bayley. That again. People talk about her butt all the time. She does not show it off. She might have pants, but you know what I mean? You're not seeing butt cheeks hanging out like Alexa Bliss or some of these other broads. But they're competent in the ring. Io Shirai fought like a fucking hellcat. Really in that, maybe not so much against Bayley, but that one you could tell that it was more just, give up the belt to Bayley. That fucking, whatever they call it, that stupid ass Money in the Bank. And a lot of other matches where Io fought like a hellcat, because that's what she is, man. An aggressive Japanese buzzsaw that'll beat the fuck out of you. And it's about pride. And it's about storyline. And it's about I am going to represent the women's championship. And if there are relationship stuff, one rule of thumb that WWE should really do or remember is don't spend so much time on the relationship. Do like how Snow said, the only reason why this guy steals this guy's girlfriend or whatever is to make it mean more. And the guy that got his girlfriend stole, that he's the bigger man, and that, it adds to the stakes of him winning, not just for trashy bullshit TV. And they're still doing stupid shit like that. The Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan bullshit that, number one, we can't even believe because, number one is Dominic Mysterio with Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. But number two, Dominic's married. I don't know why I said married so weird there. And Rhea's with Buddy Murphy. So right away, their online activity has proven that we can't even buy into it, so it's really ultra fake. But it's going back to that trashy love triangle bullshit that old WWE used to do, which is fine, but a lot of fans love it, but you're going backwards. And you're not making it a competitive, viable women's wrestling company. You're doing the total opposite. Like my brother said, I would love to see Rhea Ripley fight Liv Morgan, not under bullshit pretenses. Like, a more organic, actual, like feud, not just love triangle nonsense. Well, thanks for watching and have yourselves a great day.